welcome back, guys, to another episode where we're talking about horror films. This episode, we're going to talk about something very controversial, something that divides a lot of people that are horror fans, and we are, of course, talking about horror remakes, the best and the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think horror fans, in particular, really hate remakes?
A horror remake or any remake can taint the original. Some people think it takes away from the original. I think it doesn't touch the originals because it doesn't, because the original still exists. But a lot of people feel as if it taints it. It feels as if it somehow degrades it and abuses it.
I think it depends, what decade you grew up in as well.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, some people have movies that already are remakes that they love, and they think of the originals. They don't realise that these original films that they love, and then it gets remade again, and they're like,
kids today.
The remakes are terrible. It's like, well, actually, you like the remake already.
Yeah.
I kind of don't like remakes. I know with a lot of can we say the D word here? Disney, they call them reimagined classics now. They've sort of gone away from the whole remake phrasing of things because people really kind of don't like them. The Lion King remake was awful. I don't know if you saw that, but it was really bad.
I have not.
Don't. So, yeah, it depends. It depends. I like that people still have interest in movies and try to do things, but...
I think at some point, it's nice to see something really original, like as a horror fan.
Yeah, of course.
In the last decade especially, it's been... Like, every time there's a horror film in cinema, I go and buy a ticket to support that and enjoy it. And I feel like, in the last decade especially, it's every second one is a remake, which I don't hate. I'm still going every time. But then when you see something that isn't a remake, you're like, oh, wow, how refreshing. Yeah. It's like a concept that someone just thought of.
The problem is with a lot of remakes is they take movies that were and are good and try to redo them. They should take movies that kind of failed.
Yeah.
Kind of tried, and the idea was good, but it just didn't work.
Agreed.
And make it better. And they don't. Because they ride on the wave that... It's like when you go see a cover band at a pub or something. You know the songs, you enjoy it, you're pretty familiar with it, and you're happy to eat it up again and pay money for it. And that's what remakes are like. There's an audience already sitting there waiting for it. So that's why they do it, unfortunately. Sometimes they're good, most of the time they are not. Let's discuss them right now.
Should we start with the worst? Or you want to start with your favourite horror remake?
The worst.
Let's do the worst first.
Easier. Yeah.
Okay.
What have you got as your worst?
So let's kick it off with a vampire film. Let Me In, which was the 2010 remake of Let the Right One In.
That's right.
It was sort of like an Americanized version. That's the other thing, like with remakes. If you're going to remake it, do you have to stay, like when you're watching something that it's like word for word the same as the original, or do you like them to mix it up a little bit?
You have to make it your own, I think. I think it's silly to try to... There have been a few movies where they've literally copied it. Like, was Psycho? Psycho was remade.
Why?
I don't know.
What is there to gain from that?
There is no real point in that, is there? I don't know. It can be pretty weird, but I think you need to make it your own. And sometimes people do a good job. Like, they take something that is good and make it even better. It does happen. It's rare.
Martyrs is another one. So that came out, that's like a French-Canadian film. If you haven't seen it, it's brutal. We'll talk about that in another episode. But it came out in 2008, and they remade it in 2015. And I feel like that's really soon.
Yeah.
And the original, all the original, it's like a lot of the remakes we're talking about here probably came out in like the 70s or the 80s.
Yeah.
Came out not that long ago.
I really didn't like the Halloween remakes at all.
Yep.
I think Rob Zombie...
You're going to get a lot of hate.
I don't care. I hate those movies. They're awful.
Bring it.
They're awful. The original, of course. Are you a Halloween fan? Do you like the Halloween movies or the first one?
Yeah, the first one's good.
First two for me are good. I feel like the same story because it's literally a continuation from the same night, which is great.
The most recent remake, which was 2018, 2009?
Jamie Lee Curtis came back for, which is just called Halloween, which...
I hated that one the most.
Did you really? Yeah, I didn't like it.
A lot of people loved it. I was just sitting there, it was just stupid, I think. And
it didn't have any of the same... People want the atmosphere. That's what makes the first one good. It's the atmosphere. It's the slow takes. It's the simple music. It's the it's that, and this film had none of that. I think at one point there's a shot that went for maybe 15 seconds, like when he's walking down a driveway, and everyone's like, "Oh, here we go, we're back to the original," but it was just not good.
That was it. That's it.
I feel like the opening scene of the new Halloween movie should have been a one-shot take, like the opening of the 78 version, John Carpenter's one, because that would have been awesome. Just have a really long take, like, you know, the journalists go into the asylum and they see Michael Myers, and then Michael Myers attacks someone, and the camera it's all one take. Would have been great. But it didn't happen. So.
I mean, I get that, like, we'll do like a slasher sort of episode anyway.
Yeah.
But I feel like I understand that no matter how fast you run, Jason will always catch you. Like, I get that there's, like, there's that aspect of, like, I guess, the supernatural, like, massive, like, strength and speed and that sort of thing. But when it comes to Myers in that very last remake that we were talking about, he's been, like, locked up in prison. He's not doing weights. How old is he now? Like, 70?
I don't know.
And, like, he's just like chained down to the ground.
He's the shape. He's meant to be the shape. He's meant to not have any.
I know, but, like,
anything. But
I was just like, nah. You've been living on, like, jail food, and you're not working out, and yet you.
Well, he was doing a pretty good job of it last night. That's quote. But I think the original was so good because it didn't try to explain supernatural stuff. It was just this guy's just evil. This guy's
he was just scary.
A bad
man in a
person.
mask.
And then because it was so popular, it was like this really little film that just was nothing, that just went on to make all this money and do so well. They tried to explore every possible story aspect of it and kind of just kind of ruined it, run it to the ground. There's 2 more Halloween movies coming out, I'm pretty sure. Halloween Kills and Halloween...
I think the only saving grace for that last Halloween that came out is at the very end, if Jamie Lee Curtis and Myers had have both died in the explosion. And then it would have been, like, poetic justice. Like, they've been at each other, there's been, like, a million films, and then at the end they both die, and it's just like, okay, it's done. They're dead.
We can't... Well, John Carpenter said he cannot die. Like, and I think that was actually one of the...
She should die.
She has died, hasn't she? Hasn't she done?
Yeah, the remake, it kind of like, it just skipped, we'll just pretend that film never happened.
Well, that's what this was,
yeah,
wasn't
I know.
This was like saying all those other movies, all those millions of dollars spent, and all those thousands of people that worked on them.
That could have been just to get it into, like, mainstream, though, like, for people who haven't seen it.
It's like the new Terminator film. They're like, James Cameron comes out and goes, this movie ignores everything except T1 and 2.
It's fake. Well, talking about 80s films, one that I think did okay was Child's Play.
I haven't seen the remake, but I know the original really well.
So there's actually, like, 7 or 8 films altogether.
Is it really? You loved the new one, yeah? Like, you really liked it?
Not, well...
You weren't expecting much?
It was, like, good, and then it got better when Jennifer Tilly was in it, and then it sort of went down again, and then it sort of went up again.
Okay,
like that.
Yeah.
So, like, the original Child's Play, it's like, yeah, cool. That was, like, 1988. Yeah. And there was one in 1990, 1991, and then 1998 was Bride of Chucky.
That's right.
With Jennifer Tilly, and she was, like, the hot goth chick, and it was awesome.
Is there Chucky's Dollhouse or something? Am I mixing?
Seed of Chucky?
Oh, maybe. What's the Dollhouse
which
thing?
Was the next one, which also had Jennifer Tilly in it.
Seed of Chucky.
I feel like Bride of Chucky was the best.
So Chucky is a doll who's possessed? Is that what?
Yeah.
So he's his own... He's not, like...
So
Yeah. There's many Chuckies, but only one is possessed. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Correct.
Child's Play.
Then there was a few remakes that were terrible. They didn't really have, like, the authentic Chucky look, and again, like, storyline.
That can put you off a lot when it does deviate from a look. Same with Halloween, like, they changed the mask a few times, and it was just like.
But I'm gonna flip you again. So it was, like, good, and then it was better, and then it was shit, and then it was good again, and this one got... So then there was another Child's Play that came out last year in 2019, and it got so much hate, and I really loved it.
Okay, yeah.
Love's probably, like, a strong word. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
So basically it's like a modern version of Child's Play. Someone still does die and the blood, I guess the doll sort of gets possessed sort of thing, but it's more... I can see why, like, hardcore horror fans didn't enjoy it, but what it did do was bring Chucky into, like, the modern... It's got a lot of technology. It's like the kids...
Does he have a phone?
Controls him with, like, his smartphone.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, it's very much that. And then the doll sort of turns evil, but more from what it sees around it.
Chucky was kind of funny, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Like, kind of like the Freddy Krueger thing. Like, it's kind of horrific, but there's jokes in there as well.
Yes. Yeah. Which you can't really have like a doll that kills you. I feel like you can't do that too seriously, really, can you?
Oh, you could.
It works. But yeah, heaps of people hated that film. And I think the reason I liked it is when I went, I saw it at the cinema and I had zero expectation. I went in thinking this was going to be shit. And then I left going, oh, that was actually pretty good.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the Nightmare on Elm Street remakes that came out? Have you seen that one? There was one in...
So the 2010...
Yeah, the one like a different... It was a different Freddy Krueger.
So that's a photo of me vomiting. That's a drawing of me vomiting. Oh. That is... If we have like the best remake, that is at the very bottom for the worst horror remake.
Right.
Nightmare on Elm Street didn't need to be remade.
No.
This is the other thing, like, there's films on here that I'm going to say, oh, it was good, the remake was good, and other people will be like, it doesn't need to be remade. But I think if you're a true horror fan, you will still go and see horror films.
Yep.
You will still have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, and then there's the other group of people that are like, nah, it's all shit.
Yeah.
So, going into it, open mind, okay, love Freddy, love the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I watched it and I was just like, what the is happening?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it at all.
Like, I don't think anyone was a fan. Apparently, at the premiere, people walked out and booed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So, I'm not alone.
They tried to make it too serious, I think, right? There's no fun in it anymore. The fun was gone, I guess.
Freddy was fucked up.
Yeah.
It wasn't scary. They tried to make it darker by, like, adding in the fact that he was, like, a child molester and things like that, which, fair enough, that's right. Fucked up, that's dark. But it took away the fun, charismatic Freddy that everyone loves. It's like, you're going to get killed, but, you know, it's going to talk to you about it first. It's going to make a joke.
Jokes, yeah.
And he's going to kill you in, like, cool ways. You know what I mean?
I remember the very first ever Nightmare on Elm Street stuff I saw. I think it was Nightmare on Elm Street 3. There's some slow motion footage of kids, like, skipping.
Yep.
And it scared the crap. Yeah, that's right. Scared the crap out of me. I don't even know why. That's not scary at all, but that was. Yeah.
The other thing is, like, the reason I think a lot of people love, like, the Elm Street films is it's like, again, it's another whole world. It's a concept that, especially back in the day when it came out, was fucking scary. Like, if someone's coming out, if a guy with a knife's coming at you, you can run. You have, like, a chance to get away.
Wes Craven had... Sorry to interrupt you. Wes Craven had read a story about a kid that had stayed awake for so many days and he died, and he's like, oh, why was he trying to stay awake? What was going on? And he's had this idea, what if someone in his dreams was trying to get him? And
that's terrifying because you're basically helpless.
Everyone needs to sleep at some point. It's awful, isn't
it? But at the same time, even though it's terrifying, it's really whimsical. Like, the dream scenes are, like, beautiful, like, they're awesome.
Yeah, I remember my friend being really freaked out the bit in the first one when his arms are really long and he's, like, walking down the street. He said that just creeped the hell out of him.
I thought it was hilarious, but it was still great. Like, that's what I mean. Like, that's what you expect.
Johnny Depp's in the first one, I think, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah. It's got that really interesting shot, too. I think it starts as a slow motion shot and becomes a normal, like, 24 frame shot in an opening scene. That was one of the first times that people had seen that. Not a lot of people even know what they even notice it when you're watching it, but when you listen to the commentary, they talk about it. It's pretty cool. Something
about this film seems cool.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Bow bow.
Yeah.
Also, not only did he look funny, it wasn't funny. The dream scenes didn't match up the acting, like everything.
Yeah.
But the actor, like, he had big shoes to fill, but his voice was so annoying.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
Wasn't it?
Wasn't good. So
wasn't good. Okay. So that's my worst. Do you have another one that can top that?
Worst horror remakes. I'll come back to you on that one. I'm going to think about it for too long, I think. We got your It on the list as well.
Yes.
I thought the remake was good.
Yeah.
I thought the new one was good. The second one I'm halfway through at the moment. Haven't finished it, but...
Why do you start films and not finish them?
It's just my life. It's just how I do it. And I'll go back and pick it up from that exact point. I won't start the movie again. I'll go from the bit I was up to.
Okay.
Just how things happen. But the new one was good. It wasn't as iconic as the first one, which I don't think it could be. Tim Curry just owned it so well. And the first one is scarier. I think the first one's way scarier, creepy-wise. I know a lot of people hate the second act in the same way that people didn't like the second It movie. It just sort of lost momentum. I think not having the kids there, or whatever the story was.
The kids, it's scarier when you're kids than when you're an adult, I guess. But
yeah.
I think I can't really say what's better. I think it's one of the remakes that we'll allow. It's one of the only remakes that horror fans don't immediately bash to death before it even comes out. Like, people seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think the new one...
It had a good edge to it, I think. It had like a good sort of brutality, and like the rock fight scene was really sort of like full on, and it was just... Yeah. It had like a nice edge to it.
The whole thing was cranked up a bit, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
And also, like, Bill Skarsgård was kind of like sneaky sexy.
Okay.
There was like, no, that just threw me out. There was like a whole like blog thing about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because I walked out and I was
Even
like...
the Babadook should get together then in that case and do some sort of video.
I watched that, no. No, like I walked out and I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, fuck, that was awesome. Yeah. Because it just like, you know, when Georgie like puts his hand and his arm gets ripped off in like the first scene, you were just like, oh, it's going to be that kind of film. It's not going to be like, hiya, Georgie. Yeah, it's going to be like, I'm going to fucking eat you, which I was all for. Yeah. But yeah, then I walked out and I was like, I think I kind of have a crush on Pennywise. That's weird. That's not right. But anyway, I said that to like a few select friends because I thought, oh yeah, okay, I'd go there. He's hot. And then there was like this whole weird thing blew up on the internet. People making weird memes and like writing their sex fantasies about the new Pennywise. Like, I want him to like blow up a balloon and insert it in my rectum. Like, all this stuff. It was really up, really X-rated. But I was just like, okay, I wasn't thinking that far, but it's good to know that
Pennywise.
Yeah.
I never crossed my mind.
So.
No? It's the first time I've heard about this too. Never heard about this being a thing. So
it's a thing.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that the remake was fantastic. Stand by itself. Stephen King loved it. Yeah. The second part of the remake wasn't as strong as the first.
Did they change it too much from the book?
I think I really enjoyed the remake, and then I waited 2 years, so my expectations were really, really high. And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, it's good, but.
There's an orgy scene in the book that wasn't in any of the movies, is that right?
Films. Yeah.
They almost put it into the second one, but they didn't for some reason. I don't know the full story, but I've read
because
about
the orgy happens when they're kids.
Cool.
That's why.
That's probably why. I'll put this in film. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, I guess that's kind of hard to.
It will happen eventually. Give it like I don't know, 15 years, and the whole movie will just be the orgy scene, and that's the whole film.
That'll be art.
Yeah. So happens.
Okay, so we're putting it on the good side of remakes. Yeah. Yep, agreed. Evil Dead. Have you seen the Evil Dead remake?
No.
So there's Evil Dead 1 and 2, and then Army of Darkness.
Yep. I've seen those. I don't think I've seen the new Evil Dead. Oh, mate, no.
So they're the three with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Then there was a remake in 2012, I want to say, and Ash was played by a woman, and it had no comedy in it at all.
Maybe I have seen it.
It was another one.
Has it got the scene when she's like attacked by the vines?
Yes.
And it's like really sort of full on?
Yes.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was forgettable. I
think. I loved it. That's got to be one of my top remakes, but in saying that, I don't class that as a remake.
Right. Okay.
So like Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams, it was like hilarious whether they meant it to be that funny or not.
Yeah.
You watch that and you're like, body parts being ripped off everywhere, and it's real like, you know what I mean? Like it's funny, whereas the remake was just like I felt bad for those people.
Really?
Like, you know what I mean? And the other thing that I'll say, which is good for it, is like, you know when you get to the end of a horror film and they cut it or they sort of fake it or that whole story is once they had fed on 5 souls, Satan's bitch would rise, the skies would bleed with blood. That's right. And all this stuff would happen, and you were like, oh, it's not going to happen. Like, that one person will just survive and get out. Yeah. And no, everyone fucking died, and everyone got possessed, and at the end, they fucking delivered, and the skies fell with blood rain, which was epic, and Satan's bitch rose from the ground, and in true Evil Dead fashion, it was, like, super, super bloody, and an arm got ripped off, and Satan's bitch was, like, a super cool creature. And she ended up getting a chainsaw to the face. How can you not remember this? She literally put the chainsaw into her face and cut her in half, and then she was like, ugh. Right. And then just like melted back to hell.
Okay.
But as a viewer, I was like, when he was reading the Necronomicon, I don't think they even called it that in the movie, because it I guess was like a more serious take. So like, Evil Dead the remake, I'll watch if I want to watch something scary.
Right.
The original Evil Deads, I'll watch if I'm in like a lighthearted mood. Do you know what I mean?
I get you. Yeah. Because it's just more so full on.
Yeah.
It's kind of just goes into funny zone, I guess, almost. Or laughing like, what?
Yeah.
The Hills Have Eyes remake. I liked it. I think at the time
it was
good.
It.
It like packed a punch.
Yeah.
To steal your words, I think earlier.
Definitely.
It
was creepy.
Like, it was just full on. I remember being really full on, really violent and stuff.
Yeah, really violent.
I saw the remake before I saw the original, which sometimes happens when you're born in 1983. Then I saw the original in cinema on 35mm at the Astor, and it was good, but it just wasn't as full on as the remake.
I think that's like the issue as well. If you watch what you watch first, it has a big impact. So like if you were born in like 60s, 70s, and you saw the original, you'd be like, oh my god, this is terrifying. And then you see the remake and you're like, because that's what's like ingrained in you as being scary, and then the remake shit. Whereas if you see it the other way around, then normally when you go back to the original, it's a bit more watered down.
There's a toilet scene.
Yes.
I think it is like an old guy in a toilet. Is that what the scene is or something? And someone runs...
the toilet scene's creepy. I don't
remember what happens in it exactly, but something happens. I remember the little girl in it has her eye sort of to the side, and they did that with computer, I'm pretty sure. Like they just sort of moved her eye. Yeah. So like that real-time face movement sort of thing, which is kind of cool.
And the guy with like the cleft lip was like creepy as.
Yeah. But I think watching it again now, hasn't held up as well as it did when I first saw it in 2006.
2006, yeah.
Doesn't hold up as well. I don't know why that is, but it did at the time. So
I just remember that. Good. I think like if we add clips of it to this, we'll remember like the gory parts.
We can reminisce.
We'll reminisce about it. Suspiria.
I've only seen the first one.
Yeah. Did you like the first one?
Yes, loved it. Yeah. But I haven't seen the new one.
Suspiria fans are like crazed fans. Don't you think? Like they're like hardcore. Like everyone I know that loves that film is like it's in their top. They're like it's so good, it's so good. And I saw the remake with a friend who is like the original is her favourite film ever made ever.
Yeah.
And she loved it, and I loved it.
Okay.
So I won't give it away if you haven't seen it. There's a really amazing dance scene.
Yeah.
It did get a bit of hate again because it's like one of those ones that people like hold very close and dearly. Like don't tamper with it too much. But for a modern take on it, it was really good. And the dance scene and the ending. Whew,
okay, so that's a yay, not a nay for Suspiria.
That's a good one.
Okay.
I also have The Thing down for a good remake.
Yes, so John Carpenter's Thing is a remake.
Yes.
I believe 1982, I'm going to say, is my guess, 1982.
And then 2011.
Awful.
As well is
I didn't
also
like
a remake.
Did you like the new one?
I liked both of them.
You did, yeah. I didn't like the new one at all. I like the original, John Carpenter. Well, the middle one. I like the middle one. I haven't seen the original.
You like the remake, but not the remake.
I like John Carpenter's version, I'll say. That's how I'll put it. It just, some really great sort of makeup in that, like, which you'd appreciate, I'm sure. All the effects are great in that film. It's really, really cool. And there's a video online somewhere of Kurt Russell from footage of The Thing, and he's on a computer and he's watching the remake of The Thing, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
Check it out if you haven't seen that. Just look up Kurt Russell watching The Thing remake. It's hilarious. It's good.
One other one that I want to add is Wizard of Gore. Have you seen that?
No,
it's really good.
I've never heard of it, to be honest.
Rude. No, it came out in like the 70s, I want to say.
Drake's weird.
And it's really weird.
Wizard of Gore. Okay, yeah.
Kind of a film. It's one of those ones, again, you watch it and you're like, am I dumb? Am I missing something? And then you watch it a second time, you're like, and it was remade in 2007. And I saw it before the original, so maybe that's why it's on my good list. It has Crispin Glover in it, and he plays the main character, and he is already kind of like a creepy dude. And he plays it so well. Montag the Magnificent, I think is the character's name. Also being like, what did I say, like 2007, I think? Yeah, it was like around the time where the Suicide Girls were becoming really big, and all his victims. Basically, if you haven't seen it, Wizard of Gore is, he's like a magician, and he basically has like these set up stage shows where he'll bring a girl up on stage and kill her in front of an audience, and then the lights go off, and it looks like he's going to pretend to kill, like, oh, I'm going to saw her in half, and then he like actually does it, and his intestines are coming out, and it's really gory, and the lights switch off, and everyone in the audience are like, oh my god, and they're screaming, and they're going to run out, and then the lights switch back on, and he's standing there, and the victim from the audience is standing there completely fine with no injuries. But then what happens is about a week or so later, these women are showing up dead in the same way.
It sounds like a really good movie.
It is fantastic. Super underrated.
Yeah.
Watch the 2007 one. I think it was better than the original because it's a film that's really hard to make sense of the first time you watch it. And I think they just do a bit of a better job.
That's a cool idea for a movie.
It's really cool. Really cool.
Sounds good.
Watch it.
You've got Scream 4 on this list?
Yeah, because it came out like almost a decade after the third, and I think it was better than the third. I'm not saying it's better than the first couple.
I'd agree with that. Number 3 is a joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually like someone said, let's just write a joke and we'll turn it into a film. And that's what Scream 3 is.
Oh yeah, Scream 4 was pretty good.
Yeah, it was just trying to... Well, yeah, compared to 1 and 2, I don't think it was that great, but...
Compared to the third.
The first one is the best. As always. And number 2, I've probably seen number 2 more than I've seen number 1, actually, Scream, to be honest. I don't know why.
At least they poke fun in number 2, and they actually mention that remakes are never better than the original.
Yeah, stab.
And I was like, you know what? Like, at least you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? At least the fans can watch that and be like, okay, cool. Now we can. Now the elephant's out of the room, let's enjoy the rest of the film.
So Scream 4, I kind of forgot Scream 4 even happened, to be honest. I saw it, I was pretty excited to see it. But that's Courtney Cox full Botox in that movie, I think. Yeah. Like, the acting is back there somewhere behind the mask.
She's doing the best she can.
She stopped the Botox, so she's good now.
Oh, she's back to normal?
She's back, yeah. But
maybe they'll make a Scream 5 then.
I love Neve Campbell. I love her.
Yeah.
She's just great.
One of your favourite final girls?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I love her. She's just, I don't know, just not too overbearing, just does her thing, and yeah, she's great. There's a movie called The Final Girls. There's a movie, you might have seen it, it's about a girl and her mother was an actress in horror movies, and she gets sucked into a movie.
Yes.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Is it called The Final Girls? No.
I think it is. I haven't seen it yet, and I really want to see it.
I've seen it, and I love it. It's great. It's really good. It's the whole idea of playing on movies, like similar to Wes Craven's New Nightmare, if you've seen the latest sort of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, it's the characters are real characters in the movie you're watching in another movie, sort of thing. So,
Inception.
Yeah, it's good.
So that wraps up this episode of the best and worst horror remakes. Make sure you comment below with your favourite horror remake and your most hated one as well, because I'd love to hear about that. And I bet you guys are wondering how I killed Glenn this episode. Already have. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any videos or updates. And we'll be back next week.